So you actually cannot force yourself into becoming your different identity or your elevated identity. Your only role or your only job is to actually create the conditions for that elevated identity to emerge within you. So if you've been following my videos, maybe you've watched a couple of the last videos, you'll have an understanding that to really embody high levels of consciousness, the key is we must actually change our identity. And the quickest way to change our identity is to release all of the things that are keeping us trapped in our old identity so that we can allow and create the space for the new one to actually emerge. And in my last video, I talked about relationships being a key theme in our identity shift. And in this video, I want to talk about another really big key theme that a lot of us, get stuck, or it keeps us trapped within our old identity. And that is trying to control the outcome. Because when we use control, we actually use force, and you cannot force yourself into becoming a different identity or into embodiment itself. So the moment that you start to use force, you've already moved out of the state that you are trying to embody, in a sense. And so let's unpack it a little bit more and let's talk about control. When we try to control something, we are using the energy of force. And energetically, force is one of the biggest things that stops us from receiving, because we are using overexertion. It's the overexertion of the output of energy. It's energy moving outward, which leaves no room for us to uncover or receive the potentials that are actually already in our field. Force creates disembodiment, not embodiment, because you are literally pushing away what you are trying to uncover or receive. So here's a real life example from my very own experience I want to share with you. When I was moving through the process to start to embody fifth dimensional consciousness, I had done so much inner work. I had cleared my field of all the intrusions, the entities, the conditions that were keeping me trapped in my old identity, all of the beliefs. And, when we're ready to move from the upper 4D levels into 5D, there is a specific sequence that we must actually move through. It's not just, we don't just get to skip the steps or shortcut it. And I found myself trying to control the outcome, trying to manage or, overexert myself into the way that it should be paced. I tried to predict what came next and really try to push it along faster than it was ready to move. But here's the stupid thing, and I didn't realize it at the time. I had never ever done that in this lifetime. So I'd never ever embodied the high levels of consciousness. So I had no reference point for what I was even trying to control. And I was gripping onto something that I'd actually never experienced or never held. And that is where I got stuck and where the trap was. Because when we shift identities, we've never actually been that person. So, how can we force something or try and control something that we don't even know what it is? And this is one of the hardest parts, because you need to be uncomfortable with not knowing. You need to be comfortable with trusting the process. And control is what steps in. And we can't tolerate that not knowing as a human. That's our human experience. So here's what happens from an energetic perspective. And I'm going to show you what happens in the energy field. So in the left circle, you've got all of the potentials. All of the potentials are all of the red things that are already in your field. And when we use force, we are creating almost like a smothering energy. We are creating an output energy of forcing it, and we're not allowing these potentials here to, uncover themselves, to be created, because we are so much smothering it with our forceful energy. But when we go to allow, you can see that the potentials that are already in our field are already uncovered, and we are just letting our energy almost like flow through them, giving them space to allow themselves to emerge. So outward pressure actually smothers what we already have there, remembering that potentials are already within our field. And inward allowing creates the space for the potential to unfold. Remember that we have so many multiple possibilities, unlimited potentials in our field. And the thing that you really want, that up level of identity, already exists within your field. It's already been created. But when we try to control it, when we try to grip it, we are almost like putting a smothering shield around it that says, I don't actually want this. I don't want to embody this. And, the biggest thing that I learned is that embodiment isn't an outward process, it's an inward one. And that's why I refer to it as an embodiment. It comes from within. So the test before the next level is always the same 3 questions. And I know this because I've experienced it. The first one is, can you release the need to control the outcome? The second one is, can you trust what's already been activated within yourself? And the third one is, can you allow the external world to start to reorganize around this internal shift without trying to control it? Because, as I said, embodiment is not something that you force, it is something that you actually allow to unfold. You don't force yourself into becoming your new identity. You create the conditions for becoming to simply emerge within your field. And so, the whole process of healing, our whole healing journey has to be internal. It's happening within your field before it shows up in your external reality. Internal first, external comes after that. And the more that you actually try to force life or whatever it is that you want, the narrow your options become, because you are literally smothering it and not allowing the space to let it unfold. But I want to share with you some ways that you can start to really let go of control. Perhaps, share with you something that you can start to do to let go of that attachment to, really controlling it. So what you can do is you can take some time in a quiet space where you can actually go within, bring all of your energy back and come into your body. Think of the thing that you want in your life, the thing that you really desire, and then ask yourself this really important question. Where am I trying to force something that's already mine? Where am I trying to force something that's already mine? And feel where you feel that in your body. Feel it in your body. Your body is going to show you. Maybe it's in your heart. Maybe it's in your throat. It could be even in your hands trying to hold on. Just allow yourself to feel into that part and connect deeper. Connect deeper into that part with your breath, with your awareness, and just see what actually comes up for you. Maybe it's a younger version of yourself that doesn't feel safe to step into that next identity, to receive more. Maybe it's your nervous system that you need to communicate with that's not ready or is afraid to hold more. Or maybe it's your ego that's bringing up fear. It could also be an external influence that's in your field. But remember to allow this process. Trust in your body and what it's showing you. And I really promise you that the moment that you become aware of this and you do some inner work around it, you've already started to let go of the grip that you have on it, so to speak. So remember that you cannot force yourself into becoming. Your only job is to create the conditions for the becoming to emerge within. So thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Okay, bye for now.